Hi, guys. Welcome back to Pages of Chelsea. It's been so long since we've been together. It's been 2 weeks since the last video for me, and that was my Kindle video. And if you have any questions about a Kindle, about reading on a budget, you can meet me on TikTok under the same name, Pages of Chelsea, and I can help you. I already have tips going over there. Um, so let's get into it. So this video is going to be, what did Chelsea read in July? Okay. Because it is August 2nd and it is time to know, what did Chelsea read? So we're gonna pull out my handy dandy. Well, I also have these two things with me. My reading journal and my Kindle with some updated stickers and pop sockets, which were not on there on my last video, because I finally caved in on the pop socket because my mom found this on sale for $5. Excuse me, guys. And I was like, it's $5. So why not get it? If I really hate it, I'll just get another case. And actually, this one is one that you can pop this off and change. So I may do that. But for right now, it's working. I worked really hard for placements. See? But yes, that's enough about Kindle. Enough about Kindle. Like I said, you can meet me on TikTok. I have tips on how to use this, keep the battery good, all of that fun stuff. And then I just ordered some more stickers, so I'll be updating these. I like the green, but I really want to add some more in some other hot places. So yes. So yes, Kindle stuff, meet me on TikTok. Okay. And then we have my reading journal here. I got this reading journal on Amazon. I had a pin to match, but I think it's in another room because I was updating it. And these stickers came out the same pack as these stickers because I had 100 of them. So we're just gonna share the love. I put a couple on the back, and when I get the new ones, I'll probably keep decorating this. Um, if you want to know exactly where this is from, you can leave a comment here on YouTube or on TikTok, and I will drop the link for you. They have different colors. I think my best friends have purple and don't pink maybe. Pink doesn't seem right, but I think I know purple for sure, and I think pink or maybe like a green to match her green Kindle that she has. One of my best friends has Kindle, and one of my other best friends does audiobooks. So, I had this and we liked it, so we all just got one. Okay, so let's get started. What did I read? And if you wanted to know what I was supposed to read, you can go back to my July TBR. In that video, it's a very short video. I basically said that June, I gave myself like 10 books to read, and which I knew I shouldn't have because it's the summertime. We're going swimming. I have an infant, so we're out trying to do stuff. Football season is over. Basketball season is over. So of course my husband wants to spend time with me and watch movies and TV shows because now his hobby is over. So June really didn't. I really didn't read as many books as I wanted to. I think I overcommitted to books, and I hate saying I'm going to read something and don't read it. At least give it a try. If I give it a try and I don't like it, that's different, but I just didn't reach my goal. So in July, I dropped my TBR to 4 books. So basically, a book a week, which, if you're new with me, that is my basic goal. 1 book a week is all that I am like largely committing to. It's just to read 1 book a week because as a mom, as a wife, as just a productive person in society, I don't always have time to read 2, 3, 4, 5 books a week. And I like to sit and enjoy the books that I do read. So I like to sit with them. Oh, how did I like it? I like to reflect in my journal. And as I read, I grow as a person. So I like to soak that in and just not read and information dump. Pretty much every book I read that I finish and I like, I can regurgitate the plot to you at any point. So the books I read February and January and August, I can tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, what I recommended, like without even having this. This is more like a keepsake, and because I'm a pen to paper type person, like that's just how I retain stuff. Um, but I typically, when it comes to stories, really good with plot. Also, I do use Goodreads. Now, Goodreads is just a digital tracker in case I forget. Like I said, I'm a mom and a wife. I might finish a book and be like, okay, I'm going to mark it on Goodreads. So it says that I'm done. And I'll come back and reflect on this at the end of the day, the next day when I get a chance, whatever. So I am on Goodreads. That is literally just for ratings. I do not do reviews on there. Um, that's typically just for us and for me. Okay, so let's get started. That's enough of going over. So, what did I read in the month of July? Okay, well, let's start off where we all want to be. Okay, I started with Surrender Me. I'm gonna put it right here. All my books are gonna be here, so you can see the covers and know exactly which books I was reading. Surrender Me, which is the Wolf Hotel's fourth book by K.A. Tucker. That I have been on ebooks. Actually, that whole series I've done ebooks, even though on Hoopla I've downloaded some of the audio just in case I got busy and I want to continue it. But those books I pretty much read in a day or 2 days because I'm really into it. And that was my book club book of the month. Me and my two friends, we do 2 books a month together. And that was one of them. And I really enjoy this series. As I've said before, in case you're new, the Wolf Hotel series is what 50 Shades of Grey could have been. It's very adult. It's a loving relationship. Are there some things that have you second guessing? Like the main character, she's in her early 20s. He's like in his 30s, I think. Things move very fast, but if you love romance and you love the idea of love, that is very like it brings you in like, oh, they're working it out. They have issues, but they're together. So book 4 really like just solidified their relationship. Also, I love this series because it's not just focused on them; it's focused on how their relationship affects their family, new friends, old friends. It has her actually contemplating her life, like what does it look like with this man? Um, is he using me? Am I using him? Like all of that stuff. And I like that it's a full encompassing look into a relationship. It's just not like, oh, I want to be here, drop everything and go. Oh, I want to be here. Life will figure itself out later. It's a little bit of that because she's young, but I like how you get to see how everybody's opinions affects their relationship. If they're going to make it, because each book, y'all, I swear, I'd be like, are they gonna make it? Are they gonna make it? Like, where are we going with this? So I liked that. The mama is still working my last nerve. That mama works my nerves. Okay. Um, the mother is on some. She's on some ish. She's doing some crazy stuff. I love that she has a supportive dad. Her friends. Who needs friends? Who needs enemies when she got friends like y'all? That's all I'm gonna say. So I would recommend to read this series. It's really funny because me and my friends we finish this book. Typically, we meet once a month to discuss the books that we read last month because we read 2 together and we read others separately or in other book clubs. So we get together once a month just to talk about the books we read and to decide on the books that we're going to read. But what I'm saying is funny is when I first brought this series to them, I was like, hey, I heard this series supposed to be juicy. I heard it's supposed to be good. It's y'all's first little walkthrough into smut. I was like, we can probably knock this book out in a month. Let's just commit to read these books in a month. And my best friend was like, no, I'm probably not going to do that. I can't do that. Oh, absolutely not. And we read 1 book in May, 2 in June, and this rolls into my next book. We read the last one in the month of July. And I'm just like, girl, when you gonna listen to me? Entertainment is my jam. Books, movies, TV shows. I know good entertainment. But that's a whole nother story. So next we did read Own Me. We really was just like, okay, we finished that book. We got to know what happens. Are we gonna wait till August, or are we gonna read that book now? And we decided we're not wait till August, which, like I said, I've known. So we just read Own Me, which was the wrap up to the series, which I hate. I hate that it was the wrap up to the series because we really fell in love with these characters, guys. Like, fell in love with these characters. We love their story. Um, five did not disappoint. There was a plot twist in the beginning. Actually, there's a plot twist in four, and that was not something that we were expecting. Um, yeah, four tried to encompass a lot of things. Five did too. I will say, if you've read this book or going to read this book, the big adult scene in this book was a no go for us. It was a little far. Everything else was like, okay, I mean, you do you, girl. But this book, we was like, absolutely not. It was still good for the story, but we wasn't. It wasn't mirroring where we are. You know what I mean? You know how some things just push the envelope, and that pushed it just a little too far for us. It's very. It's just to let you know. It's be prepared. Be prepared. Each book has like, for us, we saw it as like the big adult scene. Each book had something in it, and the fifth one we was just like, no. But it wrapped up. We love the series. We're sad that that world is over, that we're not gonna get any more books. But we're glad that it ended the way it ended. The surprise twist in it was something you could kind of see coming, but kind of not see coming, and the way it developed was very beautiful. Now, I did realize if you read the first four books, you may not be aware that there is a fifth book because this fifth book just came out, I believe, either last fall or in the winter. So you may not know that there's a fifth book. So you should go back and, read that fifth book if you've already read the other four. So that is my take on the Wolf Hotel series. Love it. There's a little novella for one of the characters, Ronan. I personally don't want to read it because it's a novella, but it's also a prequel before he became involved in the series, and that's just not something I need. I think my friends were gonna read it, but it's not technically a part of the series, and it's a prequel. I probably would have liked if it was a postal. I know that is not correct, y'all. A prologue after the series was over, like where he is and how that all affected his life. I probably would have read that, but I don't really need to know how he became who he is or whatever shenanigans he was getting into before he met Abby and Henry. Like, that's just not what I need. So we have ended on the Wolf series. But if you like adult content, you like to read, and you live in the North Dallas area, they are on Hoopla, the audio version, and they're Kindle Unlimited books. So you can read them, you can try them. No harm, no foul. You didn't buy it. So, okay. So that's the first two books. Remember, I said I was supposed to read four, and there's already an extra one added. So technically, I'm already ahead of the game. The next book I read, which is a book I saw in Target, and because I'm books on a budget, okay, and I don't have the space for physical books. That was the whole point of getting a Kindle. I was ecstatic when I saw that this book, Filthy Rich Vampires, was on Kindle Unlimited. Now, let me tell you my obsession with vampires. I'm a millennial towards the bottom end. Not the bottom, but towards the bottom end. I grew up with Twilight when I was in high school, Vampire Diaries, Blue Bloods, not Blue Bloods, the one on HBO. I can't think of the name right now. Of course, I would forget, but you guys know the one I'm talking about. The one on HBO with the blonde girl and the vampires in Louisiana. I really can't remember the name of that show. Um, so True Blood, mommy brain, it comes and goes. True Blood. So I am forever obsessed with vampires, and werewolves. So the cover is gorgeous. Like, when I put it up here, the cover is spectacular. And I like anything with Filthy Rich. I love Filthy Rich Asians. I just read Wolf Hotel, and he was a billionaire. So like money, vampire, cha-ching, and it's modern. So I was like, absolutely, I'm reading this. And then come to find out, it's a 4-book series. And then she started another book in that universe, and I'm like, bet. And they're all on Kindle Unlimited. I think everything but Filthy Rich Fae, which is another series starting in that universe, but the vampire ones are all on Kindle Unlimited as of the time of this recording. And I was like, cool, I'm gonna read it. So that's by Geneva Lee. I did ebook this one as well because it is on Kindle Unlimited, and I absolutely love this story. Absolutely love this story. It is once again if we met Edward from Twilight as an adult. Because my whole thing is if you're a vampire, you've been around for the United States is like almost 250. So if you've been around for at least 200 years, you should have bank because what you've been doing with your money is what my question is. And this is like billionaire, world traveling vampire meets a girl, and there's just something about her that draws him in, and he doesn't know why. So the first book is her being introduced to the world of vampires by Geneva and how she builds it, which is beautifully, by the way. Um, but there's also something in that book where you're like the dots aren't connecting. Like there's some information about the main girl, and you're just like, but why her? Why her? This man has been around for almost 1,000 years. Why her? And you're just like, there is something that she's not telling us. And that is the thing that sucked me in is the why her. You've been around for 1,000 years. You've never had a girlfriend. You've never been married. You've never taken like a long-term significant other, vampire or human. Why her? And that's what got me. And then also because she's like this sassy girl of like, I don't need nothing. You can't take me and do this, and I'm great. I'm like cool. I like a good independent chick. And I also like that his family is not the nicest people, you know? So that's a little bit of the struggle with their I wouldn't even say a relationship in book one. It's like something. It's a situationship. His family is not the nicest, welcoming. They don't really care for humans per se, which is crazy because you've been around for 1,000 years and there's been humans every day. But I digress. So that's kind of the thing. But the big thing is like why her. Love the book. I love the book so much. I was trying to decide if I wanted to binge the series. And that is a problem for me because if I like a story and there's more story available, I go head first into the universe. I'm like, give me more. Give me more. Don't hold back. And I'm like, no, you just went through this with Wolf Hotel. You're sad that the universe is over. So I'm gonna take my time. But I love that series. I will recommend it to anyone who doesn't read fantasy, but likes a little bit of romance, but grew up watching or reading Twilight as teenagers. And you just like, I like it, but that's not really my jam. It's great. It's current iPhones, GPS, Mercedes, like airplanes. Like it's now in the 20s, I think, or maybe late, like 2018, 2019, but it's current. So it's something that you can live in. Um, yes, I love that book. So let's get to the next book, shall we? Okay. So the next, I was like, okay, I gotta read the second book for book club, and that was Housemaids. I know. Everybody and their mama is reading this series. And the reason we decided to read this series is one, it's on Kindle Unlimited. I'm trying to tell y'all. Your girl is trying not to spend no money when it comes to books. Okay? I'm really not. I'm trying not to. We're gonna see how long that lasts, but we're gonna right now. And we read it because also we typically like to do like a romance and a psychological thriller because we both like romance. Everybody likes romances. Not everybody's on fantasy or sci-fi or any of that stuff, but we all three of us agree on a psychological thriller and a romance, typically. So we did our romance, which is Wolf Hotel. We did two of those. So technically, we have a third book, which was Housemaid. Now, let me tell you something. This is the second Freida McFadden book we read. We read The Teacher, and then we read this one. I'm glad that lady is a doctor. Okay, she's a doctor and an author, and that is not her real name, by the way. It's her pen name. So no one has released her name yet, but that is her pen name. But we do know that she's a doctor. I think she does neurosurgery or neurology or somewhere in the brain. But I'm glad because that lady is crazy. The things that that lady comes up with, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that she was a serial killer. I'm sorry, Freida, but the things that you come up with is bananas. Um, Once again, she pulls you in. I love how she does a prologue. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I love how she does a prologue. Um, because it's kind of like this. If you've never read a Freida McFadden book, she kind of like throws you into the end of the book, not the dead end, but like when things are wrapped up, and you're like, "How we get here? Who is talking? Who died? Who is missing?" That's pretty much the questions: who died and who is missing. But it's like, who's talking? How do we get here? Who dead or missing? And are we getting away with it or were we getting in trouble? Those are the four questions that the prologue has you like, okay, now I need to know. I will say that this book gave me very much vibes of The Wives that we read earlier this year, where you kind of think it's one thing and it's another. Uh, I definitely thought it was the little girl, the way she was describing that little girl. How about she would be the little girl in the scary movies with the old dresses and stuff. And I was like, little girl crazy. But it's not the little girl. It's not. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not the little girl. Um, it was definitely a twist. It was good. I read it in one day because I couldn't put it down. I was on that Kindle, y'all, like like going. I read it in one day, which is a bad habit. But uh Millie, Millie, who's the housemaid, she that girl. I hate to say it. I might sound a little crazy as well, but she that girl. Um, yeah, that whole household is crazy, and the things you do to get out of bad situations. So if you haven't read it and you're just like, everybody keeps talking about this book, I don't even like Freida. It's too much hype. The Housemaids actually was a good book. It was a good psychological thriller. Would I read it again? No, because it is burnt into my head. But would I recommend it to anyone who hasn't read it and likes psychological thrillers? Absolutely. Every day. It's phenomenal. It'll have you sitting on the edge of your seat. And if you know me or you want to message me on TikTok or you know me in person and you read this book due to my recommendation, you can text me and be like, girl, what'd you give me read? I'm gonna tell you it's good. Keep going. Okay. Actually I just thought about a friend that I need to send that to. So that was that. I'm excited. It is a 3-book series currently. So you have The Housemaid, The Housemaid is Watching, and The Housemaid Secret. So hopefully we'll get to those other two really soon. But that one was delicious. And I definitely feel like we'll be reading some more Freida McFadden. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little tea. My mom, who started reading May, loves Freida McFadden. She's read The Teacher, Tell No Lie, and something else. Oh, The Wife Upstairs. Like back to back. And I was like, girl, you take a break because Freida, she messed with your head. And she said Never Lie was a little crazy. And I was like, okay. And my best friend has read that one. And I'm like, maybe I should put that on my individual TBR. I don't know. We'll see. But Freida is that girl. The hype is real. She writes some crazy stuff. She writes some crazy stuff. I am only 2 books in out of like the 20 that she has, but I haven't found something I don't like yet. So that is a good sign. All right. So let's count. We got Surrender, Own Me, Filthy Rich Asians. I mean, not Asians. I'm sorry, guys. Filthy Rich Vampires and Housemaid. So if you're counting, I should have stopped there because I was only supposed to read 4 books, but one of those books was not on my TBR, and there was one last book that I had to get through. Okay, now y'all ready for this book? Because I got some things to talk about. This good things, but there's some I gotta talk about some stuff. Okay, the next book I read, excuse me while I get my notes, was the Royal Companion, the Companion series. This book right here. Now, the reason I say we're gonna talk about this book is this is a book that I got for free, and I can't remember if it was from a stuff your Kindle day, like a romance day, or if I was just looking for free stuff on Amazon, which I do at least twice a week. I just filter free Kindle books on Amazon and I just go through that list. Because right now I have 300, 350 little around there of free books because I just be getting stuff. Um, and when I did my July TBR, please don't laugh, guys. I for I thought this book was about werewolves because the word companion, okay, and royal because typically in those it's alphas. They're the leaders of something, kings, blah blah blah. But was I wrong? I was all the way wrong. There was not a werewolf, vampire, fey creature, dragon, alien, nowhere in this book. Okay? I just assumed. That's really why I picked it because I thought it was going to be a fantasy book. No, it's not. I would categorize this as like a Regency romance book because it's very 16th 15th century esque castles, wagons, horses, corsets, different layers of clothes, like that, chamber pots, like all of that stuff. I loved it. I loved it so much, guys. I'm gonna finish the series. It's a 6 book series, and the other 5 I have to buy. Now, mind you, the books are $4.99 on Amazon, but I am going to be buying those books because I love this book so much. I was so sad when the book was over, and I believe each book follows a different character that we were introduced to in the first book, or like there's some bleed over, but it's not just 6 books about one person, one couple, one whatever. But the writing was fantastic. Um, the love story is beautiful. So basically, just to give you a synopsis, not giving anything away, and the reason I would give synopsis for this one is because this is not a popular book. It's not. It was for free. I think it maybe had like 1,000 views. Actually, I have my Kindle right here. Why don't we just check? Why don't we just check? So while I'm talking, gotta wake up. That's the one thing about Kindle. You know, it takes it a minute to like pop up. Let's see. Let's see. One second. I want to do about this book. Okay. Okay. So it has about 33,000. Excuse me, 3,300 reviews on Amazon, and this book was published. Not quite sure, but um, plus the about 3,300 reviews, which is why I picked it, even though it was free, because enough people had read it. It wasn't like 27 people, 15 people, you know. So it's like, okay, enough people have read it. It has like a decent star rating, and I absolutely love this book. So a little synopsis. In this world, the land is divided up into kingdoms. One kingdom, what they do is the princes, so the men of the royal family, are allowed to have companions, kind of like concubines, but basically they pay your family to take you away from them and take you to the castle. And you typically have a talent: music, sewing, dancing, smarts. Like, you're there to be a companion. And they can be married, not married. The king has one, the princes have one. The women don't. We all know how that is. The men can do what we can't. But that's a whole nother story for a whole other conversation. And this girl gets forcefully sent. Her mom was like, "Take my daughter, take her," because they poor and they need money and it's not enough food to eat. And she ended up going, and she basically is learning palace life, the rules, the how she should behave in front of company, things to say and things not to say to the royal family, who to avoid in the royal family and who you not supposed to avoid. And each girl technically is assigned to one of the male royal family members. Plus there's some others. So she was going through that. She's making friends because you're literally stuck in the castle. You can't go nowhere. You can't go nowhere. And she is bought by one prince for his brother. So another prince that she hasn't met. He's away at battle. And she's just like, what if they're alike? And I don't like this one. He didn't buy me for himself, but I don't like him. So it's a very slow, will they, won't they? Will he accept her? Will she behave? Which honestly, I can dig that. And I think that's one of the things I really like. She wasn't like, oh my gosh, a prince. He's mine. I'm gonna do whatever I can. She's like, girl, I don't want to be here. I was forced here. Like, when can I go home? Like, that's the kind of thing. And so the romance story is very beautiful. The main lead is really charming. He has his flaws. Do not get me wrong, he's not perfect. But they have this very push and pull. And so, like I said, I love the story and I will be buying the other 5 books. When? I don't know. I'm thinking about adding one to my September TBR, but we're gonna see how I feel since it's just August 2nd. I just got here. So yes, check this book out if you like Regency era romance. Not Bridgerton, like she ain't that up there, but it's of that era. Okay. Now I know what you're saying. Chelsea, that's 4 books plus an extra one. Well, your girl did something wrong. I squeezed in another book. I know. I know. I know. See, what had happened was I believed that I would start a book and it would take me through August 1st to finish it, and I would just count it as an August TBR, as an August read. I finished that book in 2 days. I finished it on 7/31, guys. So to be fair, and because I have a calendar at the end of this and I'll post it on TikTok, I'm like, I have to include it in this video. So the book that I read was, yes, Filthy Rich Vampires 2. It was supposed to be on my August TBR, as I said, but I was really struggling and I really wanted to continue a series. I wasn't quite ready to pay for the Royal Companions book 2. So I went ahead and did Filthy Rich Vampires 2. Now, let me tell you something. When I finished that book, I almost finished the rest of this series because we got some answers. We got a little tussle. You can't tell me what to do. You know, he like, I'm gonna tell you what to do. Like, he's very much a man's man. Like, I run this, and she's like, I don't know who you think you are. Okay, I likes that. I likes that. We gotta find a balance because that's real life. You have one person, another person. You have to find a balance of you being yourself, but a little softer, and him being himself, but a little soft. You have to meet in the middle. So I like that. Then we got some introductions to some more supernatural creatures. We got introduced to werewolves. We got introduced to sirens. We got introduced to half vampires, half humans. We got conflicts resolution, not resolution. We got surprise guests, I should say. We got the family still don't like them. They still don't like them. They don't. I don't know what we're gonna do about that. But yeah, yeah. So yeah. We got her mama got some issues that in this book we were introduced to the issues, but we still have to unravel that, which is pulling me more. I'm like, what we gonna do about her mama and his family and the surprise guests and these new creatures that's popping up out of nowhere. We got witches, like we got a whole bunch of stuff going on, and I'm like, we need to. I'm ready for stuff, putting some of this stuff to bed. We got some adult scenes, which we always love. We got money being spent. Buy me a whole new wardrobe. Take me all over Europe. We got her reaching her goals, him reaching his goal. It's perfect. It is a perfect fantasy novel for adults, not young adults, for full grown adults with adult problems, which I enjoy. Don't get me wrong. I love me in academia scene. I love me in college. I love me in high school. But these are adult problems with adult issues that need adult solutions. And so I love it. So I squeezed that book in. I'm hooked. I gotta find some more books this lady done wrote. Geneva Lee, because I'm hooked. I don't know if this is her first series. I don't know, but I'm hooked. Okay. This has been a really long video. And I apologize for that. But we fit in 6 books. I read 6 books this month, and I do want to go ahead and be honest because you'll see at the end of this video. All 6 books took place in the second half of the month of June. I'm not June, sorry, July. I don't know what happened in the first 2 weeks of July. I didn't read not one book. But the second half picked up, and I was like, bet. Let's get it in. Let's do it. So that is July's reading log, we can call it. Reading review. It's done. That's it. I'm gonna let you guys go because I've held you long enough. The next video you'll see of me will be my August TBR. That video will be shorter. Thank you for hanging out. Once again, I am Chelsea. Thank you for hanging out and visiting Pages of Chelsea. Check me out on TikTok for all of the Kindle hacks, guys. Kindle hacks, but books on a budget. The quick form stuff, catch me over there. I do have a couple shorts here, but you can catch me on TikTok and we can talk. Bye, guys. See you in a couple days.